Hello, it is me, at WillRogers2000, aka the Haunted Sponge, back again for another episode of Unboxing Hunt-A-Killer. This time I'm on box 5, if you can believe it. I kind of can't. Thank you, a huge thank you to Ryan Hogan and the entire Hunt-A-Killer team for continuing to send me these boxes for these videos. I'm very excited to crack this one open, so why don't we jump right into it. Here it is, and here we go. All I've done, I've only popped it open so that I can black out my address, as usual. But right off the bat, we can see that I now have, adding to my stationery set, an official branded Hunt-A-Killer ruler, which is interesting. Cool. So they gave me a notebook in box 1, a pen in box 3, and here in box 5, a ruler. So maybe in the odd-numbered boxes, they're adding to my collection of office supplies. Things are getting crazy. Wow. Oh, this seems actually different. This is not a letter from our friends at Listening Friends of America. This is straight up a letter from Hunt-A-Killer. Things are getting crazy. I'm Adam Mueller, head writer here at Hunt-A-Killer. I want to take this opportunity to introduce myself, reach out about some upcoming developments, and personally thank you for taking this journey with us. Major developments to come. Wow, the journey never ends. A new type of storytelling. Exciting. I can't wait to actually read that rather than just kind of pick out the bold phrases. Here we go, our next Listening Friends of America envelope. Still no inspected by stickers. I'm still not sure if that is in-game or not. But here we go. All right. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Kind of as I expected. There's a lot in this envelope. Woo! If you've watched my previous videos, then you know I've been under the impression that things are ramping up. And this just confirms it. Let's see. Oh, I now have my very own Listening Friends of America pencil. Okay. Concord Point Lighthouse. This reminds me of the picture of the farmhouse that we got a couple boxes back. Man released from mental institution found dead at home. Lloyd McGowan is dead. Wow, I am genuinely shocked by that. As am I shocked by this. 10 yogurts for $4. What a steal. Country ham? Cooked ham? Oh, baby. Papa's gonna eat tonight. All right, and what is this? A Dear John letter from Heather. Woo! But we get a letter of our very own, don't we? Yes. A letter from our friend, John William James. What does he have to say this time? I've prepared now for envelopes. They've been a problem in every single previous video. But now you get to watch me as I fumble with a pair of scissors. Okay. Typical butcher job. There we go. I'm going to keep some things for myself. I watched my father chew flesh while my neighbor's flowers died. John William James, as weird as always. What a kook. And finally, death on Potomac shocks small town. Body found in state park. Grisly murder shakes quiet town. And there it is, our most recent letter from Listening Friends of America. Wow. All right, a lot to digest. There's a lot going on in this box. I kind of expected it because I felt like things were ramping up and up and up. And now, here we are. So, allow me to dig through this stuff, and I will see you back in my studio so that we can go through all of this information and put together some theories. Please make sure, as you watch, that you like down below, that you subscribe to this channel if you enjoy what I'm doing in these unboxing videos. You may enjoy some of the other shows that I produce. Through Talk Bomb, I produce a bunch of podcasts, from Will and Bobby Know Everything to Book Club, Schmook Club. And please share this show. I do this for fun. I do this because Hunt-A-Killer is a blast. So if you're enjoying what you're seeing, your friends might too. Please share the show. But without any further ado, I've got some homework to do. See you in my studio. And here I am, kind of. Here I am. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me for Box 5 of Hunt-A-Killer. I'm actually live now. Pre-recorded time is over. I am sitting in front of you with the fifth set of clues, wondering what I am going to tell you and wondering what I am going to say, and hopefully I'm also wondering what I'm going to find out in this episode, because I'm so into this. I am as into this as always. There are things that the second that I opened the box, I noticed as being something new. It seems like we're on to something new now. If you've watched my previous episodes, then you know that I've theorized about... There are some things we don't even know about the structure of Hunt a Killer, right? Like, we know that we get a box each month. We know that there is some sort of overarching mystery that carries through several boxes, but I still am somewhat unclear on how many boxes a mystery lasts for. This, I think, is telling. I think that Box 5 is a transition from Mystery 1 to Mystery 2. I think that we are at... If Mystery 1 didn't end last month, I think Mystery 1 is officially dead as of this month. Kind of literally. So if you guys are watching live, I really want to thank you. We have more people watching live now than I think we have in any previous video when I've been doing this, which is really exciting for me. I really appreciate that. And it is the creator in me that makes me say the following. Share a link. Share a link to this show right now. Let's get a ton of people in here. People are in the chat right now. Let's get a ton of people in the chat. Let's get the ideas flowing, and let's have a really good time. So here we go. I say that I think Mystery 1 is dead because, for sure, Lloyd McGowan is. Hey, spoilers. If that wasn't evident, spoilers. Lloyd McGowan from Box 1 is dead. We have in here literally an article from a newspaper. Man released from mental institution found dead at home by W.D. Jerome. A man was found dead in his home in Clifton Wednesday morning when a social worker made a house call. Lloyd McGowan, 76, which, by the way, the audio clip that we heard of Lloyd McGowan, I think that I, with a lot of help from you guys, found the audio clip on the Listening Friends of America website in box 3, I want to say. That did not sound like a 76-year-old man, but here we go. He was 76. The thing that we obviously need to get from this is how did he die? We're not yet going to understand the full circumstances of his death, but we can learn the cause of death. Police say an autopsy revealed high concentrations of organophosphates in his blood, a class of chemicals traditionally used as agricultural insecticides, though highly toxic to humans. They think he poisoned himself. It's a unique way to go. I don't know. Though we don't understand the motive, a police spokesman said over the phone, and this is clearly a tragic story, we are considering this case closed. If you didn't get it from the actual, the text of the case, I feel like this is meta commentary. The police are considering the case closed. I believe that this is our communication from Hunt a Killer that the case is closed. Lloyd McGowan's story is done. I'm sure there will be echoes, there will be ramifications for the Lloyd McGowan story moving forward, because all of these strings are being pulled by our pen pal, John William James. He's not going to forget this case or anything. I'm sure there will be references, but for all intents and purposes, the Lloyd McGowan story is done. That's interesting. That's very interesting. It's the end of one thing and the start of another. Hope Sorrell in the chat. The last few envelopes from our friend have been sealed, not opened like previous ones. Charles, hey Charles. John William James is probably not having to deal with Listening Friends of America screening if he is in charge. Yeah, one of the things that I've been keeping an eye out for is the inspection stickers. No inspection stickers after box 2, I want to say. That's box 1, inspection. Box 2, inspection. Box 3, nothing. 4, nothing. And now 5, nothing. John William James is flat out in charge. So what we are doing now is we're going to see what's going on with John William James and Listening Friends of America, because as we've been getting all these boxes, the story has been evolving. And if you guys will indulge me for just 1 minute, I would like to share something real quick, just something that I have spent a lot of time working on. And if you are interested in Hunt a Kill, you may have some interest in this as well. Charles, I believe you've already seen this, so bear with me. In the past week, I've spent a shocking amount of time, more time than I really anticipated, doing a lot of writing. If you guys are familiar with the movie Scream and all the sequels, 90s slasher movie, horror movie about horror movies, then you know that it's an iconic horror movie, and you may not realize this, but MTV did a TV series version of Scream, and they did 2 seasons, they did a TV movie, and they just announced that they are going to be rebooting. They're calling it rebooting. They're getting rid of the existing storyline, they're getting rid of the existing characters and going in a new direction. Well, me being an aspiring writer and creator, and I mean, holy crap, a gigantic fan of Scream. If you listen to my podcasts, I mean, yikes. On Book Club, Schmook Club, Will and Bobby Know Everything, Studio Rejects, I have talked a lot about Scream. Not just like being like, hey, let's talk about Scream right now, but if we read a book on Book Club, Schmook Club, something in it reminds me of Scream. I'm a gigantic fan. So I took it upon myself, to make a long story short, I took it upon myself to basically produce my pitch for how you would reboot Scream. As a gigantic fan, I figure who better than me? And so I literally sat down and wrote what would be my version of an opening kill. So if you go to thehauntedSponge.com/Scream, you can see my pitch video. You can literally read. It's a short script. Look at this. We've already scrolled to the bottom of it. That's the end of the script. Here is a 1-page treatment that I wrote of where the series would go and why I came up with this idea. But anyway, I say that just because I put a lot of work into this thing. I know that it's a long shot. There is probably 0% chance that somebody from MTV will actually look my way. But hey, it's the 21st century. It's 2017. I've been creating and writing for a long time, and there are definitely weirder ways that people have gotten into the entertainment industry. So I feel like I genuinely have a story to tell. I feel like Scream is the perfect way to tell it. They need to have a reboot of their season. It would be a perfect fit. So please go consider checking that out. And if you like it, share, please, because I'm sitting in my little studio right now, and I would love to evolve what I do. Anyway, let's get back into Hunt a Killer. So, Lloyd McGowan was dead to begin with, as far as Box 5 is concerned. But the real way that each one of these boxes starts, at least as far as I'm concerned, is with the Listening Friends of America letter. This time, as last time, it's obvious that there's a secret message encoded in the letter. We already know that John William James has somehow escaped from his cell. We believe that he killed George Madsen, the former president of Listening Friends of America. And I gotta tell you, I'm a little confused. So I'm just gonna shout out my thought process a little bit. So we know that John William James somehow got access to the Listening Friends of America newsletter, which if you go to the Listening Friends of America website, you can actually read. They only have one right now. There are sort of hints in this month's box that we should expect further communication or further newsletters. But if you go to their archives, you can read their winter newsletter, in which we see that there's a person who calls himself Mr. Puzzles, who is clearly John William James, putting a coded message on the website for us to figure out. And we did figure it out. But my big question is this. Jacob Nilsson is the man who is now listed as the vice president of Listening Friends of America. Last time and this time. But the fact that there are secret messages written in the Listening Friends of America notes suggests to me this is the kind of like playful, hidden, puzzly stuff that John William James does, right? So I'm starting to wonder now if he is Jacob Nilsson. Not since the beginning of time. I think there was a real Jacob Nilsson, but I wonder if they've been in cahoots for a while, if Jacob Nilsson and John William James are partnered up in doing this somehow, or, I mean, really, if John William James killed both George Madsen and Jacob Nilsson, and for the purposes of presenting Listening Friends of America as a legitimate company, if he is masquerading as Jacob Nilsson. From the chat, real quick. Jenny Mira, I guess I'm wondering why we were introduced to Lloyd at all, if he got out and is now dead. What are we supposed to be solving with him, then? Is it all over? I believe that it is all over. In box 4, correct me if I'm wrong, I did double back through some of the previous clues to go through box 5. I believe in box 4, there is a direct reference made to from John William James saying that we solved the case. So somehow between boxes 3 and 4, we found Lloyd McGowan innocent. We proved his innocence somehow. Ooh, boy. And correct me if I'm wrong again in the chat, but I think that there were some inconsistencies in the file, the actual medical file that we got in box 2, that suggested that he could not have committed the murder. Or there just wasn't sufficient evidence. If I remember the case correctly, I think it was that a woman named Lillian was murdered inside the facility. She was also a patient. Jacob Nilsson was found after the murder. His door was unlocked, which suggested that he could have done it. And they prosecuted him based on that. So I'm still, I'm a little bit lost on that. But the Jacob Nilsson, or the Lloyd McGowan story is done, I think. I think we're going to see references to it, but I think that's it. Charles in the chat, I think the Lloyd case was to get us familiar with how Hunt-A-Killer works, like a beta case. Now with Hunt-A-Killer letters telling us cases, we'll have more of a solution system set up. Yeah, I didn't even mention this, but the first thing that greets you when you open box 5, rather than the Listening Friends of America letter, is actually a letter from Hunt-A-Killer themselves. Things are getting crazy. I read a little bit of this in the unboxing portion, but it does feel like this represents a new start for Hunt-A-Killer as well. One of the things that I really enjoy about doing something new like this is seeing how it grows and evolves over time, and I think that this is literally a communication from Hunt-A-Killer saying the story begins to change from here. Not necessarily change, but they're evolving their style of how they produce these mystery boxes. That's what I take from it anyway. So back to the Listening Friends of America letter. Everything is lowercase, except for randomly uppercase letters. And so it's so roundabout. You know, like this is one of those things that it's like there's obviously a puzzle here. It seems like there are a million ways to tackle it, and I think I found the right way, but I'm not even sure what it means yet. So I'll say this. I went through the letter, and I wrote down every letter that was uppercase. And unless I am wrong, it is URSOTCNAEWY. I played around a little bit. I was wondering how tightly they would integrate everything on the page. Listening Friends of America, literally the company logo at the top. I mean, the L, the F, and the A are uppercase, which is, you know, it's correct. They're just using the same logo as always. But I wondered if we're supposed to think about everything. However, what makes me think that that is not the case, what makes me think that we should exclude LFA, is the fact that at the bottom of the letter, there are, this is really not going to read, but you can see this line, this sort of small text line. When you read it, it says from left to right, they're just words, random, in no order that makes, you know, grammatical sense, no syntax. Underneath, relic, teachings, new, obsidian, scarlet, crowns, adorn every wizened yearning. Underneath relic teachings, new obsidian scarlet crowns adorn every wizened yearning. Doesn't mean anything. However, underneath starts with a U, relic starts with an R, teaching starts with a T, and so on. Each one of the words at the bottom starts with one of the uppercase letters in the note itself. They're not in the same order. So the order of letters, for example, is URS, but down here it's underneath relic teachings, not underneath relic, what would it be, scarlet. So it seems like up here we have spots where there are capital letters, and down here it's the order in which we should be paying attention to them. I thought maybe we're supposed to, UR could be you are, you are supposed to do something, but that is not what it is. It's not like text speak. They're just letters. But down here I think we get an order, which the order is important because, whew boy, by the time that we get to our letter from John William James, our pen pal, which is usually the next thing that I read after the Listening Friends of America letter. This closes the story on Lloyd a little bit. This is what I meant when I think there will always be references to previous cases, and it sets up the next case. But most importantly, there is this sort of crazy story that John William James gets into. And it's a story that he tells about his childhood that I think we should not take at face value. And indeed, if we believe it at all. He tells a story about his dad, quote unquote, ripping the meat from a rack of pork ribs with his teeth. Watching him, I was transfixed by the way the glistening tendons tore and snapped in his yellow teeth. Sounds like he likes his dad a lot. I was standing there because he would not let me leave. Our neighbor had asked me to water her flowers while she was away. My father saw it as an opportunity to have the better of the two flower beds. He demanded I neglect my chores so the flowers would dry. When I protested and ousted him as a poor neighbor, he said only one thing to me. You can act up the case, let hers dry. You can act up the case, let hers dry. You can act up the case, let hers dry. You connect up the case letters dry. You connect uppercase letters dry? Secret message is you connect uppercase letters. All the uppercase letters in the Listening Friends of America note. There's an extra word, though, that bothers me. And I can't decide if there's an extra word in here because they just had to make the rest of the sentence work. You can't end this sentence on let hers. That wouldn't even resemble a complete sentence. Not that this couple of phrases make sense. My voice is cracking. I'm getting very upset. Not that this makes sense on its own. You can act up the case, let hers dry. That doesn't really make sense. But if it was you can act up the case, let hers, well, that would stand out as a clue even more, I think. So I wonder if the word dry is totally ancillary or if I just can't make it fit right. You connect up the case letters dry. I feel like it's only telling me you connect uppercase letters, but I'm a little neurotic, and I'm not kidding. The fact that the word dry is in there and stands out as much as it does kind of bugs me. I want to jump back into the chat a little bit. From Charles. John William James's letter is grammatically well done. The Nilsson/Listening Friends of America letter is just a disaster with possible coded messages. Might be two different people. Great point. The actual writing style, the way they use words, the way that they communicate is completely different. I like that a lot. I do think that it would be a cool twist. I came into this more and more. I'm expecting that John William James is kind of a Hannibal Lecter type. Like he's the one-man mastermind behind the scenes who's making us dance. But I feel like it's a really cool twist on that notion, on that, it's not a cliche really, but on that trope, to have him be partnered up with somebody. And if Jacob Nilsson is also writing in riddles and stuff, that's genuinely awesome to me. Penny and Brain Hunter Killer. Oh my goodness, Will Rogers, if you figured this out, you're my hero. The only thing that made me notice it honestly, was up the case. You can act up the case. Let hers dry is, if you take it literally, it's about letting the neighbor's flowers dry out. You can act up the case, though. That bothered me, and I was already dealing with uppercase, so it started to make sense. And then when I started realizing that it was something else, some other hidden message in there, it stood out a little bit more. Maybe the order of the uppercase letters and the order of the words on the bottom are important, i.e. some of the words are not in the same order as the letters. Some of the words are not in the same order as the letters. Oh, so if we actually put the words at the bottom in the order the letters appear, it might mean something? Cool idea, let's try that. I was wondering if it was using the letters in the last rhyming word, like D-R-Y or S-K-Y. Ah! That's interesting. But that would make it rhyme. You connect uppercase letters sky. You connect uppercase letters. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's a tricky one. It's a genuinely tricky one. Then connect those letters to the words on the bottom of the Listening Friends of America letter or something along those lines. Divas Dramaturg, a.k.a. Jen the Lunatics, are running the asylum. Yes. And it's awesome. Did you guys see the, not to be too much of like a fanboy, did you guys see the Hunter Killer promos? They shot like that new commercial. I thought that was really cool. And my first instinct looking at it is to be like, oh, okay, let's go frame by frame and look for clues. It's easy, I think, to go overboard in this. Yeah. So anyway, let me follow through on the initial thread I started with connecting the letters, just so that for my own mental well-being, we can wrap this up before we move on to trying to reorder the words, because I like that idea a lot. So I did it two ways. I connected I printed out copies of the letter, and I connected the uppercase letters as they first appear, and it just comes out as this like sort of jagged. It seems stupid, like some of the uppercase letters are on the same line. That didn't make sense. It was almost like I was crossing out words. Although, as I say that, I like that idea. Could it be about the words you strike through? Wow. Holy crap. Could that be it? Worthwhile, streamline operations, communications. Nope. Wrong. Okay. And then I connected the letters the way, based on the order of things at the bottom. So you can see I've got a couple copies of things. And this one ends up kind of looking, I don't know, it's like a drawing of a house, a cartoon of a house. Let me see if that makes sense. Worthwhile. Nope, that idea doesn't make sense. That would be cool, though. Earmark that puzzle for the future. If you connect each letter, whatever word the line strikes through could be part of a secret message, but I don't think that is the case. There's too much negative space between some of these words. Us robust, temporarily, newsletter, our streamlined communication, authority events, well, you. Meaningless. It's meaningless. So, what do we have? What do we have? Oh, I also traced my shape, so I figured maybe we could mess with this a little bit. Very Constellation-y. It'd be nice if that came back. I deliberately did not look that up, by the way. So I try to do some stuff before the stream just so that you don't always have to sit and watch me slowly puzzle stuff out. But obviously, I don't go too far to the point where I can just be like, let me recap what I did when you weren't watching. Easter egg hunt. Ooh, wow, you guys were talking. Penny and Brain. The TNOSC in the words and the sequence SOTCN in the letter. Those are the only letters that are different in each. Temporarily streamline our communications is a logical sentence. Could be a message from Nilsson that he wants to help. While we temporarily Streamline our operations. Yeah, but that would be connecting things kind of backwards, right? Temporarily streamline our communications. I don't know. I'm really torn. All right, I'm gonna do some writing. Hey, check this out. I pulled this up because I thought this was kind of cool. So, in the video that kicked this off, my unboxing, I was talking about how it seems like Hunter Killer is straight up just giving us office supplies in odd numbered boxes. You know, we got our actual notebook in 1. We got a bloody pen in 3, and now in 5 we've got a ruler and a pencil. Well, my father-in-law had 3D printed this super cool skull pencil holder. And I figured, well, holy crap, is there a better thing to store my Hunter Killer tools in? Anyway, so let's do this then. So the order of things at the bottom of words, is U, R, T, N, O, S, C, A, E, W, Y, whereas the uppercase letters in order of the letter are U, and I mean like if you were reading left to right, if you were reading through the letters straight, U, R, S, O, T, C, N, A, E, W, Y. A, E, W, Y is at the end of both. Ooh. Okay, yeah. A, E, W, Y is the end of both. U, R is at the beginning of both. And so this is what changes the order. So if we put the words from the letter in the order of the things at the bottom, it would be us robust. Wait, we already did. I'm sorry. I'm like, I doing this makes my thing all scrambled. I think that this is... Oh, no. We were talking about reordering the words at the bottom to match the way they appear in the letter. Okay, so it would be underneath relic scarlet, obsidian, teachings, crowns, new, adorn every wizened yearning. Wow, cracked it. I don't know. I absolutely do not know. Oh my gosh. Charles, I have more actual theories with the news clippings and what we all feel is the new case. I know. I need things to... Maybe it all builds off each other. I feel like there's really cool stuff in this box. I just don't know in what order to do these things. It's so difficult. The outline thing looks like the Big Dipper. Doubt it means anything, but there you go. I know, I'm getting to let's do the Constellation thing right now, Hope. So, I've got the original boxes here, envelopes. It's funny, looking even at box 1, it's all beat up now. Here's the Constellation card. And here is my artist's recreation of I'm gonna get like a good shot of my face in here. Beautiful. The order of the letters, does it fit? It's obviously larger than... It's the Constellation card, isn't it? I think it is. It kind of matches Draco. Yeah. Is this the answer to the Constellation card? Am I crazy? It was the first one I looked at. Maybe am I forcing it too much? It does look like it has part of the Big Dipper in it, but I don't think... I think it kind of looks like Draco. Holy crap, wait a minute, yeah. Has anyone done this? Oh boy. I wasn't rushing this. I feel useless without the Listening Friends of America letter. There are the correct number of stars for Draco, right? Hold on. U, I think this is it, you guys. It looks a lot... How... It's not... Alright, I'm calling it. Not a coincidence. Draco. Oh, I wish that I could... How am I gonna, like, make this clear? It would be, like this. Oh my god, I can't. It's never gonna look right. Oh my god, What's funky in the placement? The stars? It's definitely Draco. I'm straight up going on the record as this is Draco. So is the secret message in... We know now, so there are letters that correspond to stars if you draw out the message in the thing versus what's on here. So, all right, I'm just going to start writing. Damn it, I wish that I could put the image of the Constellation card on the screen right now and do a split screen. How do you guys feel? Is it clear enough? Is it clear what I'm talking about? This is a totally subjective thing. I just figured this out and I didn't expect I'd have to do this, so I didn't prepare for it. If you guys want, I can step away for just a couple of minutes and set it up so that I think I can get the Constellation card and my drawing on the screen at the same time. It'll take me probably 5 minutes. Are you guys clear with what I'm talking about, or do you want me to do that? Let me know in the chat, because I would happily put the two things on screen. Because I think this is really wacky. I think this is definitely it. Draco. I'm gonna draw a little bit more on here. Oh man, I don't wanna ruin anything. STX. There are letters and symbols on the Constellation card. Each star has its own name. Go for it. Okay, all right, I'm gonna do it. All right, give me 5 minutes, you guys, and I will be right back. This would be, hey, not to be too obnoxious, but this would be a really good time to watch my Scream video. Just putting it out there. I at this point, I genuinely feel embarrassed. I acknowledge that is very obnoxious, but okay, I'll be right back. Woo! right, here I come. I've not been able to look at the chat or anything. I've only been trying to set this up, so I don't know if you guys are like, this is stupid or what, but I think I found it, you guys. I think I found out what the Constellation card is for. See it? I'm not insane, right? Let's try to get a better look. The shape of these things is kind of wacky, so bear with me. This is going to be a kind of ugly looking show for a minute. This is it, right? Now, it's not, they're not on the same angle exactly, but you can see it, right? I'm not nuts. It's Draco. Dragon? Is Draco dragon? I'm thinking back to my Harry Potter lore. Draco. Is that right? Is that right? I can't hear anything either. Hold on. Whew. OMG, that's it. I think it is. I think it is. Whew. What is Talk Bomb? Anyone else here new to Talk Bomb? I am Talk Bomb. Kinda. Me and my friends. Talk Bomb is a company that I run. It's a production company. It started out with a podcast called Will and Bobby Know Everything. We moved on to a show called Studio Rejects, which is kind of sort of coming back Wednesday. New Will and Bobby today. Fridays is Book Club Schmook Club. I actually I produced a show for Hunt a Killer. Not this show that I'm talking about right now. I produced an actual show for Hunt a Killer. There are 2 episodes of it, and I dare you to find it. That's all I will say. It is out there. I dare you to find it or ask for it. Anyway. Thank you very much, Charles, for saying that my Scream script is awesome. That is very, very nice of you. I worked really hard on it. Haunted Sponge, thehauntedSponge.com/scream. Watch my video and stuff. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting crazy. I'm trying to catch up on the chat, and I am an idiot. So I got derailed. I think this is it, guys. I think that, how do I do this? I think that Draco, I could just use my other hand, huh? I think that Draco and this box 5 letter are the same. So why is my question, why? And if my theory that Hunt a Killer is evolving as it goes along is true, then what's the deal? Because this is now the answer to a mystery that was set up in box 1. So how do you like that? Ho! What does it mean? What does it mean? I'm Draco. I really think Draco is dragon. All right, I'm going to do some straight up Googling. Draco. I'm getting Draco Malfoy. Draconian, right? Wait a minute. Draco, why don't I just do Draco Constellation? That would probably get me right to it, huh? Draco is a constellation in the far northern sky. Its name is Latin for dragon. It was one of the 48 constellations listed by the 2nd century astronomer. How do you pronounce Ptolemy? Ptolemy? Is it just silent P, like Pterodactyl Boy? And remains one of the 88 modern constellations today. Backstory of Draco. Namesakes. Dragonheart. Wasn't that a horrible Sean Connery movie? Am I crazy? Wow. I mean, listen, I'm not kidding. I don't even know what to say at this point. I think that maybe one of the things that we could do is put the 2 things together. You know, there are obviously symbols around the edges of Draco. Oh my God! Could this connect to, when was that? Was that box 4? Because there are letters and numbers and symbols on this thing, and I wonder. Oh my God, you guys! I don't even know what to say at this point. Remember in box 4 we had a secret picture of a little man. Is that clear? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? That's probably the least descriptive way to get my point across. There was a picture. Here it is. This guy. With symbols all around him. Any connection? This was Dr. Faustus, right? Mephistopheles, the devil, dragon? I don't know. Draco. Symbols. Standing in a circle of symbols. T, X, Y. I can't list these symbols, so I feel like that is also significant. Oh my god, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm turning to the chat because I am now just confusing myself. People did connect the Cygnus and the Swan, right? Yeah, hold on. Cygnus and Swan. We had the Swan card that was also box 1. Are we just going to periodically get things that reference this card? Because Cygnus is one of the constellations on this card. Are we eventually going to get something that refers to Ursa Major and Ursa Minor? Are we going to get bears? Are we going to get something that's Cameliop and Cassiopeia? What are these references building toward? Am I supposed to think that this is something that I can continue to riddle out as I sit in this chair right now with 5 boxes of information? Or am I... Since this is the start of a new mystery, do we get a new constellation for each mystery? In box 1, the Swan. Boxes 1, 2, 3, and 4 were the story of Lloyd McGowan. Box 5 is now the story of someone else, Heather. And we have another constellation for the first time. Is every first box of a mystery somehow a constellation thing? And he's filling up this constellation card. I don't know. It's kind of clicking as I'm saying it, but I don't know. Draco is dragon. John William James thinks of himself as a dragon, and we got the dragon tooth. Brilliant. Also with that picture of the dragon eating the bodies. Brilliant. Charles and Shanna. Oh my gosh. Does the picture of Cadmus fit over letters and give a hint or clue? I think it's supposed to. That was box 2 or 3. My wife, actually, we were sitting down and going through all the boxes, and she realized that the gaps on the picture of the dragon, there was a secret message in the John William James letter that eventually translated to put holes over something. So meaning the holes in the image, the gaps in the image, maybe reveal a secret message in a letter. I played with it for a while, but I didn't really get anywhere with it. Oh my gosh. The sinkholes line up with the stars as well. Sorry? What? Yes, the map of Darlington / Baltimore and the constellation. Use the... What is happening? Seriously? The Constellation Killers. Hey, I like that too. Shanna. Your name is Shanna. S-H-A-N-N-A. It's not Shayna. Anyone who says that is a fool. All right. I think I'm gonna call the Constellation Mystery. I think it's a wrap on the Constellation Mystery for now, because I just don't know where else we're meant to go with it yet. So I'm gonna move on, because I can't believe time is flying, you guys. I've been doing this for a while, and we haven't even talked about the new mystery. So I think I got to move on. I'm just not a zillion% sure. Okay, mystery 2. John William James starts talking about somebody that, as my friend, I think it only right that you get a glimpse into her life. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading too late. I was once allowed two-way correspondence, busting my theory that there is, well, whatever. Let's watch my old video to hear an asinine theory about how we are communicating back, but busted here. I was once allowed two-way correspondence and, in fact, made an acquaintance through that avenue. She was a lovely young woman, and I admired her all the way to the end of our arrangement. Let me get rid of these things on the screen if I can. As my friend, I think it only right that you get a glimpse into her life, too. I was recently allowed access to my personal goods and chattels in the storage units here. Why don't you take one of her letters? Consider it my gift to you. Something to read in leisure. Woo! Dear John letter. I thought it was a breakup letter, but it's to John William James, so makes sense. I like that it is printed on this blue paper with this border around it. It would make me think that this was somehow a teacher. However, I believe I have evidence to suggest she might work in a hospital. Dear John, I'm happy to hear things are settling down for you. I'm sure it isn't easy, lost in a cold place like that. Jumping forward, I want you to know that I've been thinking about what you said about Alan and me and everything. I think you're right. Alan thinks he's better than me. He thinks he's better than pretty much everyone. He knew how I felt, told me he loved me, and then, psych. That was it. 90s, psych. Not for long. I'll bring some beer over to his house when his parents are out, and I'll set him straight. But you get me already. That's one of my favorite things about you, obviously. But even more than that, you care enough to try to get me. I just wanted to thank you for that. I wish we could meet someday, and I could thank you in person. Anyways, good luck with the bottled water. I hope you get it. I love the sound of water, don't you? Love, Heather. Love, Heather. We got this photograph of someone's bulletin board where they're collecting articles. Articles about what appears to be a spree killer, serial killer. Charles Goss, Heather is dead in your opinion? Not just in your opinion, buddy. In my opinion as well. Let's see if this rings any bells. Grisly murder shakes quiet town. Police discovered the body of a young man in his parents' home in Highland Village last night when a neighbor called to complain about the noise coming from the house stereo. The young man, whose identity has not yet been released, was home alone while his parents were away at a business gala function in Dallas. Heather letter to John. Not for long, I'll bring some beer over to his house when his parents are out, and I'll set him straight. The young man died from a large puncture wound to the liver, and his tongue had been torn out. Liver, this is dorky. I'm going to say something very, very dorky, but I think it might be right. He was stabbed in the liver. She was going to bring some beer over to his house. If I think about liver injuries, it makes me think about alcohol. And take that for what it's worth. 2 other articles. Another one about a man whose body was found, this time in the Meeman-Shelby Forest State Park, which I think was in Tennessee. I looked it up, I want to say. His body was found 3 weeks after he was dead, but it was clear that the cause of death was a penetrating abdominal trauma to the liver. In 3 weeks in the wilderness, he still had his liver. Like, they're not calling that like an abdominal stab or whatever. I don't know. That one seems like... I just feel like a body in the woods for 3 weeks would have either decomposed or like animals would have, you know, hey, it's gory, there's a murder game, animals would have eaten him to the point that they'd just be like, oh, man's body was found, but like his skin was eaten and his liver's gone. You know, a lot like all his other organs, they're just gone. Third death, the quaint setting of Indian Head, Maryland. Maryland is not the location one might imagine the backdrop of a grisly murder, but that's just what it became over the weekend. Maybe. A body washed up on the Potomac. Despite the location of the bodies, authorities say the cause of death was not drowning, but rather a deep penetrating wound to the liver. And then the final thing that we have on here, tourists find body of woman in mouth of Susquehanna. Susquehanna. I think that I have to agree, Charles. I think that Heather, from this Dear John letter, went on to murder Alan. Is that his name? Went on to murder Alan when his parents weren't home. She, for some reason, stabbed him in the liver and ripped out his tongue, which sounds crazy. Went on to kill at least 2 other people that we know of based on these articles, but only stabbed them in the liver, did not rip out their tongues, which is weird. And then tourists find body of woman in mouth of Susquehanna. I love the sound of water, don't you? I think that she is dead. Either, I'm not gonna jump to say suicide or murder, but I think that she is dead. Alan's a boozer and a schmoozer. Penny and Brain, you were right. Well, he was. He's a boozer, a user, and a loser. Does anybody get that reference? Is Heather killing these people to impress John William James? Maybe. Diva's dramaturg, I like this a lot. Yeah, an animal would have scarfed up his liver really quickly. Hashtag rural life. Wow, I'm considering that evidence for the record. I think that you have it pegged. Hashtag rural life. that liver is gone. Now, as is the theme for box 5, I'm going to return to some old boxes because I think I know who Heather is. I hold in my hands the file we received in box 2 about Lloyd McGowan. I wish that made more of a dramatic sound. So we see, just a brief reminder. Through the course of this letter, we learned a little bit about Lloyd McGowan's backstory and how he was being drugged. And eventually we know that he was transferred from whatever facility he was in before, L.F. O'Brien Asylum. Dr. William Richter ended up transferring Lloyd McGowan out of L.F. O'Brien Asylum, which he had lived in for 30 years, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, and instead transferred him to the facility, the Darlington, Maryland facility of Listening Friends of America, to be in the custody of George Madsen. And the final page of this report is a brief, very brief letter from George Madsen written to Heather. Let's reduce Mr. McGowan's medication. I'm curious about what, if anything, he has to say. John William James, Jacob Nilsson, and now Heather. 3 people in the Listening Friends of America facility that seem to have a dark past or mysterious motives. It is unclear. However, that really only raises more questions than answering them. She worked for Listening Friends of America, and for some reason was also a pen pal for John William James. Why do you have to write a note to somebody if you work where they live? That doesn't really make sense to me. And the fact that this is written on this paper with this border, which I thought seemed to me like an elementary school flyers that you would see in a hallway, something like that, it also kind of makes me think of a hospital billboard. Maybe she transferred to another Listening Friends of America center. I wonder if Hunter Killer is eager to expand this world a little bit, get out of Maryland, go to another facility, and she works there now, or worked there until she died or went on her killing spree or whatever you want to call it, and was writing letters to him, or if for some reason she was let go. I don't know. The answer is I don't know, but I know that Mystery 2 is off to a really intriguing start. I was into it before I started this video, and sitting here and talking about it and chatting with you guys makes me think that this is going to be even better than I expected. Concord Point Lighthouse. This was the, I think we've gone through everything else. I think this was the final clue in the box. This image. And I just don't even know what to make of it. There's a body of water in the background. Obviously, at this point, water makes me think Heather Face, the serial killer. I just don't know. It's fascinating, and I think we need more at this point. There are references made in the Listening Friends of America letter to the fact that there's going to be new communication happening at some point. I wonder if that means a new newsletter. I've been paying attention to the Listening Friends of America website to see if there's going to be something else that pops up. Here's something that I think we should all bear in mind, because I've been getting messages from people that I think raise an interesting point about the way Hunter Killer works. 99% of it is in the box, right? Each month, 99% of what you have to focus on is in the box. And there's a little bit that you have to go to the internet to find sometimes, not every time. Now, for me, the audio clue of Lloyd McGowan was a box 3. Discovery. But now there are people who are starting on box 1, as everyone does, and who are getting to, box 1 or 2, and then finding that website. Or maybe they're getting it spoiled for them. Some people I know searched the Listening Friends of America website. There's a search function for the hidden number that was on the back of one of the letters in box 2 and found that audio clue kind of before they would have been prompted within the game. I feel like the way that I ended up doing it personally in box 3 with the clues that were in there was the quote-unquote correct way to find that clue. I say quote-unquote because I think in doing a mystery like this, there is no officially perfect correct way necessarily. It is what you make it. But I'm wondering if I continue to check for Listening Friends of America updates, am I going to see things that I'm supposed to see as a November 2016 gamer? That's when I started. Or am I going to see things earlier than I should? Because there is a whole group of people. This whole thing, the earliest time you could have gotten a Hunter Killer box was October 2016. I'm a month later. So I might see stuff that's technically for people that are ahead of me. So I just want to throw that out there. I just find it interesting. When you do this sort of like outside of this box, when you think outside the box, you might find something that you're not ready for, that you may not have context for. Just a thought. Hope, I found it in box 1 by accident. Are you the Lloyd McGowan clip? That's funny. That's funny. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. I think unless there's anything that I missed, please, if there's anything I missed, quickly jump in the chat and shout it out, because we can talk about it. I'm not running away because I want to run away. I'm running away because I think that box 5, I think that we've done a lot of excellent work on this, quite frankly. So if there's anything that I'm missing, please do not hesitate to let me know. Charles Goss, all the murders show a trail from Texas through Tennessee, then to Maryland. John William James kills Heather because she was bringing too much attention to his hunting ground. Here's my only question about that. John William James, up until box 3 or 4, we know has been locked up, right? When did he do this? When would he have been able to kill Heather? We know that he was incarcerated when they were talking because she's writing pen pal letters to him. It's certainly implied that everything was happening while he was behind bars. You know, I was once allowed two-way correspondence and in fact made an acquaintance through that avenue. He was locked up when he first started talking to Heather. This implies that he didn't know her, actually. That's interesting. I made an acquaintance through that avenue. She was a lovely young woman. He didn't know her prior to the letters. That's kind of worth noting. Who makes mixtapes? Or even uses tapes? Listening Friends of America, LF O'Brien Asylum. Both LFOA. Wow. Wow. Wait a minute. That is really cool. That makes me think... Listen, I'm not saying that that's not a very clever thing to figure out, because I think it is. I think that rules. I will say this. In my Scream script, just to bring it all back to me being super obnoxious about this, in my Scream script, I wrote about how there's a true crime network called The Murder Channel. My script is very much about true crime. I was reading it out on Studio Rejects, coming out Wednesday, with my buddy, my co-host, and at one point, one of my characters talks about how they're a big fan of TMC, and he pointed out that that's Turner Movie Classics. So, LFOA could be coincidentally repeated in the game, but because this is written and designed, because we have a letter from Hunter Killer where the head writer, Adam Mueller, which I should have said this at the start. Thank you for the letter, Adam Mueller, and well done. This game is awesome. It's just getting better. It's exactly what I said. It's only getting better. I think that LFOA, I think you're goddamn right, Charles. LF O'Brien Asylum. Listening Friends of America. I think you are right. Well done. Are they one and the same somehow? Did one of them come from the other? Was LF O'Brien Asylum the forebearer, and then somebody spun off and made Listening Friends of America? Is somebody obsessed with... Oh my God. Raises questions that we don't have a way to answer yet, but I love stuff like that. I love that. The Concord Point Lighthouse. You guys are talking about that in the chat. Hope Sorrell says it was built in 1827. You guys are talking about how it is, Penny and Brain says, it's right near a mouth of the Susquehanna. So maybe this lighthouse is meant to be a photograph of the area where Heather's body was found. That's a very interesting connection. The website mentioned all the measurements of the lighthouse. Oh. Interesting. November Squad, shout out. I think there may be newsletters starting to be sent now by email only.
That would make a lot of sense. That would keep me from finding an October 2016 groups thing. That would make a lot of sense. All the more reason, always check your spam folder. October 2016 is Diva's Dramaturg. You got in on the ground floor. I thought I got here early. My sister, who I do Book Club Schmook Club with, she got me my first box in November for my birthday. I thought that I was early, but man, how big is the October 2016 group? Sizable. I feel like us early kids. I still see, you guys must see in the Facebook group. There's so many new people all the time that like I feel like my show is already obsolete because they don't want to see it yet. I'm too far ahead. I should take like if I was interested in just making sure that I had a zillion people watching, I should take like 2 months off so that they can catch up to me. I'm not going to. Jenny Mira, this just reminds me that we don't know all that much about John William James's timeline. I completely agree. I think I've been saying this the whole time too. We have these mysteries. We had a 4-box mystery series about Lloyd McGowan. We're just starting the Heather series, but the through line for all of them is the John William James mystery. So I think there's still a lot to learn about him, and it's good that they made him as enigmatic as they did because it keeps me wanting to know more and more. Diva's Dramaturg, Jen. I'm just going to call you Jen. It's very hard to say your screen name. I apologize. I have a question back about the Cygnus/Swan thing, the constellations in the Swan card in box 1. Was that ever connected to Lillian? I don't think it was. I think that up until now, the Constellation card has been a huge mystery. But honestly, the fact that now we have a connection to Draco, the constellation, it tells me that maybe the Swan was just the first of a series of constellation references, but we didn't know that it would be a series because we only had one link in the chain. Now we have 2. I'm going to anticipate more. Whew, boy. I'm pretty lost here. I only jumped on CD6A. I only jumped on as I got the notification saying you were live. Going to watch all these. Oh my god, I hope I didn't spoil a bunch of stuff for you. This is box 5. I don't think it should ruin anything at all, but it's really fun to sit down and mess with this stuff. What if the constellations represent victims? Yeah, I like that. Somebody earlier said something about the constellation killers. That could be John William James. Maybe Lloyd was the swan. He talks about how Lloyd was not a lion. He was a lamb. A lamb is obviously being used to represent a more sort of like innocent creature, like a swan. You could kind of say it's a little bit of a stretch, but you know, maybe John William James is saying that Lloyd McGowan was the swan and he's dead, and that Heather was the dragon. I'm thinking now about like, you know, stereotypes about the dragon lady, which I don't know if that's super duper PC. I don't mean to be offensive or anything if it is offensive. I literally don't know. Call me ignorant. But she could be likened to a dragon. She was a serial killer, right? So he claimed one victim who they thought was a killer, but he wasn't. And he's now maybe killed another person who was a monster like a dragon. That clicks. That kind of clicks. The constellations are John William James's victims. I like that. I like that. What about the pilot that never made it to Brazil? I believe that was just a connection for Lloyd McGowan because he liked the pilot. Good call. I do not know what that was for. Okay, guys, this has been a blast. I think that's a wrap. Charles, I'm going to say I think that the ruler was to connect the dots between the capital letters. I think that's what that was for. Not to say it can't be used for anything else, hence keep your tools at hand. This was a blast. This was great. This was to me as exciting as box 3 was. This was really, really entertaining, and I feel like we actually had some revelations. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for being in the chat and hanging out with me. I really appreciate the fact that you guys are willing to sit here and hang out with me and watch as what is effectively, you know, sitting in a room by myself rambling. It's a lot of fun for me to do. I enjoy doing what I do. I'm just going to take a picture of my setup because you want to share it. It's always fun. It's weird if you guys see my angle of what this looks like. I really enjoy doing this. I think Hunt a Killer is great. I think that if you have any interest in what I do outside of the Hunt a Killer boxes, I would really appreciate it if you would hold on to this channel, the Talk Bomb channel. It's my production company. If you want to like this video, if you want to share it, it'll be saved in the archives in a minute. If you want to subscribe, if you want to check out the other shows that I do. Today, we had a brand new episode of my podcast, Will and Bobby Know Everything, come out. I've been doing that show for 5 years. Wednesday, I'm reviving an old show we used to do called Studio Rejects, where we actually act out scripts. Weird connection. We started that show because I was a Scream fan, and I had a script of Scream 3, an unfinished draft that I wanted to read on the air. So we came up with a show. It's a movie show where we read scripts for movies that don't exist, unfinished drafts, screenplays that didn't get produced, things like that. Unfortunately, 2016 was not a great year for me. If you are a listener to my shows, you kind of know why. And at a certain point, I was burned out, and we stopped Studio Rejects. But we're reviving it for a special episode on Wednesday. Book Club Schmook Club is a book club podcast that I do with my sister Kristen. We just read Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. We've done H.H. Holmes. We did a Ted Bundy episode that we lost, but we kind of did a repeat of it. There's another show that I've produced. Episode 1 was about Ted Bundy. Find it. It exists somewhere. I'll give just another cryptic hint. Find my show. It is somewhere on the internet. There are 2 episodes. But yeah, check out Book Club Schmook Club on Friday. We're going to be doing just a free-for-all comedy show. And then next Friday, we're going to be reading J.K. Rowling's The Casual Vacancy. Please go to thehauntedSponge.com/Scream to read how I would reboot Scream, the TV series for MTV, because in addition to all of this quote-unquote performing stuff, I am also a little bit of an aspiring writer. And really, seriously, I mean, I just want to say, above all else, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you had a good time. And I'll see you guys in the Facebook group. I'm more of a lurker than anything, but I'm pretty much always paying attention. So I'll see you guys there. Let's share some more clues and revelations about this stuff while we wait for box 6. This has been a blast. Thank you guys so much. See you guys, Shanna, Charles, Jen, Hope. Oh my gosh. Penny and Brain. I love that name. Anyway, I'll see you guys another time. But until then, keep searching. Let me think of another corny phrase. The truth is out there. I made that up. That's mine now. Bye, guys.